The rivet is hidden in plain sight, but holds the world together. And I have been fascinated by them ever since I was a child. I remember walking through train stations, walking across bridges, looking at the structure of buildings, and being entranced by the millions upon millions of these that held together the structures of the past. As a young blacksmith, I first made them for the pivot on my tongs, but I always wanted to learn about how they were used in an industrial, structural way. I remember being completely entranced watching a documentary about how the Eiffel Tower was built. One chap on the floor below heating up the rivets in a forge, throwing them up to the team up high, and the heads smashed over with sledgehammers. And as time went on, it went from rivets being set with sledgehammers to hydraulics and pneumatics. Say hello to my little friend. I've been hunting for one of these for a long time. This is a Brumwade pneumatic hammer. Admittedly, it looks a little bit bigger in the pictures than it is in person, but I want to get this thing restored, up and running, and build the tools that we need to see if we can make rivets like they used to back in the day. Press this, chisel comes out. Feels remarkably smooth for its condition. Ooh, the insides feel good. No way. The spring's a little spirals of flat stock. It's cleaned up, and we've got to find out if this thing works, which is why I'm sitting on top of the compressor, because we need air, and you guys very kindly told me in the comments of our steam hammer video that the pressure relief valve I put on the receiver tank was too small, and so I purchased a much bigger one. I'm always very grateful to be learning from you guys. Turns out a pressure relief valve needs to exhaust more than the compressor can produce, which frankly sounds incredibly logical, to be fair. And on here, on there. Sharpen this up real quick. So let's see how this thing performs as a cold chisel before we transform this into a rivet header. On with that. Oh! Say hello to my little friend. Oh, that's done nothing. That's pitiful. What? Not doing any hammering. Maybe I assembled it wrong. I think we've got to disassemble it. I looked at the pictures. I think this needs to be turned like that. I have no idea if that's any different. It's not doing anything. Oh no! I put it together without this! That should be inside of there. That goes in there. Oh no! Boom. Take 3. Ah! Even worse! Try again. I'm looking at the pictures I took. I think I have it all together backwards. I just found one of the little, I dropped it. One of the little ribbon springs that we saw earlier has broken. I don't know if I'm gonna have anything that'll replace it. Childproof containers. Oh my goodness. Definitely don't have anything that's gonna bloody well replace it, do I? None of these are gonna fit. That's not gonna fit. Nope. I think this spring is about to go as well. All right, how about this then? Will this work? Will it work? Oh! That sounds more like it, baby. That's what it's meant to sound like. Look at that thing. That is a special type of feeling. The only thing it's missing is the smell of gunpowder. It hammers, and in its current state, chisels with some oomph. But is it enough oomph? That's the question. And so what I need to do is I need to make up a rivet heading tool, otherwise known as a rivet snap. A rivet head is not just a rivet head, it's a rivet head. No. If you refer to your copy of Machinery's Handbook and turn to page 1779, we can learn a little bit about rivets. We can get some information about the type of joints and, important for this discussion, the different type of heads. The American National Standard calls this style a button head, and us Brits seem to call it a snap head. We can also see the dimensions of various components of the rivet, depending on its size. Now here, I think we're going to start with a small little 8mm rivet, and this is the row for that, and that means it should be 14mm wide, 4.8mm high, and is that the same as the examples we have? 0.3mm off, but perfect on the height. We've got to make a tool that has this shank, and impressed into the end the negative of that snap head. Right, the actual engineers watching I'm sure are going to have things to say about these drawings. So just go for it, like rip me apart. But these drawings are built to give me everything that I need to be able to make this part on the lathe. All my dimensions coming off the end, and I know there's like standards for how you dimension a drawing and how you project different views and all of this, but these are things I haven't yet learned, but I was very excited because we actually have Onshape coming on as a sponsor in the new year, and I do need to do more studying and learning. But based just on intuition, I was able to get this done, and this is going to be essential. So I'm gonna cut some material. I want something that's gonna get real hard. I want the good stuff. So what do we have? That would be perfect. That is H13. This is EN24. Need it just a hair larger than that. EN24 it is. Oh yes. Fits like it was made for it. Ugh. Now we got to flip it around, put a little taper on it, and then a little divot in the end. Oh, yes, baby. I'm pretty happy with that. That's how she looks before heat treat. Now, my assumption is that the original is hardened the whole way through and not just at the tip, but let's find out. Okay. Could have been wrong. Doesn't actually feel very hard anywhere. Soft, 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 soft. Wow. Okay, that's taught us nothing. I'm gonna harden it. There's no way something like this is soft the whole way through, so it's probably just fully hardened, but just not very hard. In she goes. And out she comes. Into the temper. Mmm, scrumptious. I do love that oxide quenched finish. Oh yeah. We've only got one half of the equation sorted. We have a means of hopefully forming the head of our rivet. But if we just supported it on an anvil, we'd squish and flatten the backside. We need a bucking bar. This stuff's 1040 EN8, so we can do it with a water quench. We need holes. While most of the video is riveting, this is boring. It's side project time. You might know, one of my hobbies is playing with dogs. Hi, how you doing? We recently hosted a PSA trial, dog sport competition, and we wanted to make some special, kind of informal trophies. So I whipped together a design, came over to the Wazer, of course, and cut out some silhouettes, where then I had the idea to forge weld those sheet steel silhouettes to some bits of flat bar, and I am bloody chuffed to bits with the result. What cool way of making up simple plaques or simple trophies. It's not Damascus steel, but I think the result is a very cool imprint.
That is exactly what I was hoping to achieve.
And they were awarded to the Decoy's Choice Dog and the Handler's Choice Decoy. Now the decoy is the person that gets bit by the dog. And so, of course, I was also out there getting bit by dogs, wearing a big old bite suit, running around like a clown and having a great time. And decoying is just one of the moments in my life where I am very grateful that we are sponsored by Element. Element is an electrolyte drink mix. What you doing? And their motto is more salt, not less. Based on a growing body of research that suggests that optimal health outcomes occur with sodium intake 2 to 3 times the typical government guidelines. Each stick contains 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. And Element has accompanied me on all of my runs up and down mountains in the Alps, keeping me hydrated and cramp-free. And more importantly, it has become a really important part of my daily routine here in the workshop. Having Element means that I drink almost 0 sugary drinks anymore. This stuff tastes absolutely phenomenal. My personal favorite is grapefruit salt, but I love my citrus and also my orange. It's not just enjoyed cold, you can also enjoy it hot. They got awesome flavors. Mix into your hot drinks, like their limited time only chocolate medley. Mix it in with your coffee, or try the awesome recipes they've put together. A little taste test of the chocolate raspberry. Oh my goodness. Chocolate raspberry is amazing! Please go to drinkelement.com, that is drinklmnt.com/forge. With any purchase, you will get a sample pack filled with all of their flavors for free. And that's good for new and returning customers. And if you don't like it, give it away to a salty friend, because they've got a no questions asked money back guarantee. The link is, of course, in the description below. let's get back to it. This is going to be a little itty-bitty test. Nothing like the scale of riveting that is done and has been done. The thing that comes to mind is this incredible old video of the Empire State Building's beams being assembled. These things were riveted together, each beam with hundreds and thousands of rivets before being brought to Manhattan to be made into the Empire State Building. And of course, let's not forget the thousands and thousands of rivets that hold together every aeroplane that you have ever flown in, or that flies in the air. It's all held together with rivets. Now, how does a rivet work? And what's so bloody good about them? Well, unlike a nut and a bolt, the rivet is permanent. It has one end upset, formed over into a head. Out of its own parent bar, it is pushed through a hole, and then, hot or cold, in our case hot, the final end is hammered over and driven over, swelled to create a permanent fixing. And the added benefit of a rivet is, because we're going to heat this, and because we're going to force it over when it's hot. Yogo, no. That's very expensive. That's a pure nickel sheet. You can't be chewing that. Refer back to the explanation about the coefficient of thermal expansion in the titanium and steel Damascus video. What happens when the rivet then cools down? It shrinks, pulling harder on the joint, and until they shear off or corrode away, they are locked there permanently. Let's find out if this rivet gun is strong enough for these rivets. Yes! Kind of. Slight problem though. Have a look at that, Jamie. That head is not properly formed. The end of my rivet snap, this flat surface, has imprinted on it before the head is fully formed to the 14mm diameter that the specification calls for. So that means that I didn't leave enough of the parent bar poking out of the hole to be able to form a large enough head. We needed just a little bit more length, and gentlemen, we did not have it. I don't have any store-bought rivets that are any longer. We're gonna have to make our own. Yeah. That one might actually be a little bit too long. I dare say. That is an acceptable looking rivet. Not all the way perfect, but pretty close. Oh no, look at that disgusting off-center head. Bit off-center as well. Oh yeah, it helps when the pressure's on, doesn't it? Yeah, that's much better. Yay. Did this one go straight? That's more in the middle. The only 8mm stock that I had on the shelf is what is called hot rolled material. This is hot rolled stock. As the name suggests, it is straight out of the rolling mill after a heat with no further finishing. The result is it is never perfectly round, and the tolerance is actually quite large. So it could be plus or minus 0.5 millimeter, say. This, on the other hand, is cold roll stock. So after the hot rolling, they clean off the scale and then roll it again cold, and the finished piece has a much closer dimension, much finer tolerances on it. This is hot roll steel, that is cold roll steel, and this is Rick roll steel. So let's measure the actual bar we're using. Oh my, look at the variation. As small as 7.59, as big as 7.89. It's oval and dramatically undersized. Most of the time I find hot roll stock to actually be a bit proud of the given dimension, and in my genius, I assumed that to be the case instead of measuring it, and I drilled that 8.5 millimeters so that we would have the clearance for it to come in and out. But it seems like that was an oopsie, because I think we've gone too far on clearance. It wobbles too much, and so it doesn't take a lot for it to tip over to one side or the other. So all I've got to do is re-drill that hole out just a little bit smaller. This was 8.5, this one is 8.2. Hot roll stock is a bit of a nightmare to get out. Oh, we're ruining it. Still a bit off center, but this one is approaching close enough that you can just call it handmade, and it adds value. See if we can clean up that hole a bit. Oh, much nicer. Crap! Even worse.
Can I give it a go? So I've got a magic hand.
Yes, come on. Whoa! Jamie! Easy does it. Whoa! You gotta be joking. Damn it, it does look really good. I just want to see how this thing is holding up. It literally looks brand new. Good lord.
Yeah, you've only done about 6 rivets.
I know,
They
but
didn't
like if
change this every 5 rivets on the Titanic, did they?
I know, but if I'd done a crap job of making this, you know, it might have been showing some wear. And it still looks and fits really well. These ones have been cut a millimeter shorter. Yeah, it's where the word crap comes from. It's crap. It's scrap steel. Accuracy through volume. If we just make a ton of rivets, eventually we can find 4 decent ones for this little assembly. Literally getting worse. Well, it looks pretty good from the top. You be riveter, I be getter-outerer. Whatever your rivet looked like, it now looks like crap. That's not perfect, is it? Get out of there! Ah! This is delightful, Jamie. All right, I'm just gonna cut it off. So, what would happen if you were up the Eiffel Tower and put a bad rivet in? How would you get it out? You would take your 1881 cordless 4.5-inch angle grinder with a 1mm zip disc, grind off the head, then knock it out. You can see how the shank deformed as that other head was riveted since it was all hot. Ah! That's hard one-handed. Ah! Okay, holding and riveting, both one-handed, not so easy. Ew! No! I suck at this! Uh-oh. Problem with our bucking tool design, it's too wide. Looks a little bit more like it. Kind of decent. I don't think we're going to be able to go work for Boeing, Jamie. Shall we see if we can break it? Ugh. Yep, even ugly rivets are pretty strong. This is why I love rivets. They're strong as can be. Now, what I really want to know is how big of a rivet will our rivet gun allow us to make? That's going to need some more tooling. That is also going to need some more time. But the purpose of this video was beginning the process of troubleshooting this entire process. And we have learnt good bar stock, important. Correct clearance on the hole in the backing bar, as well as the hole in the workpiece to be riveted, is very important. In addition to having a competent operator in the workplace. We can do something about the first 2 problems, but the doofus on the other end of the trigger, I don't know. So we're going to need to get to more troubleshooting to dial this process in, and we're going to need a project to do it on. So let us know what you think we should rivet together, hopefully with those bigger rivets. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you go check out today's sponsor, which was Element, at the link in the description below. As ever, I'm very grateful to have had a little bit of your time. Bye-bye.